A king sat on his throne, surrounded by gold, guarded by armies, feared by enemies. Yet inside the palace walls, something terrifying was happening. The ruler of a kingdom was slowly dying, not in battle, not by assassination, but while still wearing the crown. His body weakened, his court whispered, and his kingdom watched as power itself began to decay. This is the chilling story of the king who rotted on his throne and how illness changed the fate of a nation. In medieval Europe, kings were believed to rule by divine right. A monarch was not merely a leader, he was seen as chosen by God. The king commanded armies, controlled wealth, and shaped the destiny of thousands. But royal power came with hidden dangers. Palaces were filled with stress, political rivalry, poor medical knowledge, and unhealthy lifestyles. Luxury often hid suffering, and sometimes the throne itself became a prison. Our story begins with a ruler once known for strength and authority, a king admired in his youth, powerful in presence and ambition. But time would transform him into something entirely different. At first, the symptoms seemed small: fatigue, pain in the legs, difficulty walking. Royal physicians offered treatments common for the age: herbal mixtures, bloodletting, and prayers. Medicine in the medieval world was guided more by belief than science. As months passed, the king's condition worsened. He gained weight rapidly, struggled to move, and spent longer hours seated on the throne. Public appearances became rare. Rumors began spreading beyond palace walls. Was the king cursed? Or was God withdrawing his favor? Inside the palace, tension grew. Advisors whispered in corridors lit only by torches. Nobles worried about succession. Foreign enemies watched closely. A weak king invited danger. The monarch's illness began affecting governance itself. Decisions were delayed. Orders contradicted one another. The once commanding ruler now relied heavily on attendants just to stand. Power slowly shifted from the throne to those surrounding it. History shows us a dangerous truth. When a king weakens, ambition grows stronger. Royal doctors attempted everything known at the time. They prescribed diets, applied ointments, and performed painful procedures believed to restore balance to the body. But medieval medicine misunderstood disease. Infections spread, wounds failed to heal. The king's physical condition deteriorated further. Descriptions from historical accounts speak of suffering, discomfort, and isolation. The throne room, once a symbol of strength, became a place of endurance. And still, the king refused to abandon his seat of power. Before we continue, if you enjoy uncovering the darker and lesser-known sides of history, subscribe to Vault of History and turn on notifications. Because some of the most fascinating stories aren't about victories, but about the human struggles hidden behind crowns. Now, the king's final chapter begins. As the ruler weakened, political instability spread. Taxes rose to support court expenses. Nobles competed for influence. Common citizens sensed uncertainty. Without strong leadership, unity faded. History repeatedly shows that kingdoms depend not only on armies, but on perception. A sick king meant a vulnerable nation. Diplomats questioned alliances. Enemies prepared opportunities. And within the palace, succession debates intensified. Who would rule next? The king spent increasing time alone. Ceremonies became shorter. Audiences were limited. The throne, once a symbol of authority, now represented decline. Imagine the psychological weight. A man worshipped as powerful, unable to control his own body. Chronic illness stripped away royal illusion. Beneath the crown was simply a human being confronting mortality. And as his strength faded, so did the image of invincibility that held the kingdom together. In his final period of rule, the king rarely left his chamber. Advisors governed in his name. The court prepared quietly for change. When death finally came, it was not sudden. It was expected, almost inevitable. The throne passed to a successor, but the damage left behind reshaped politics for years. The king's story became a warning remembered by historians. Power cannot protect anyone from time. The image of a king rotting on his throne is more than tragedy. It reveals a universal truth. Rulers may command nations, but they remain human. Disease, fear, and mortality ignore crowns and titles. History often remembers wars and victories, but sometimes its most powerful lessons come from quiet decline. If this story changed the way you see history, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Vault of History, and hit the notification bell. Because behind every crown lies a story rarely told, and together we uncover them one by one. Tell us in the comments, does absolute power strengthen a ruler or slowly destroy them? Until next time, history still has secrets waiting in the shadows.